dynamic. These are the various features of the Java language. The most important features of the Java is that this language is platform independent. What do we mean by platform independent is that is you can write you can write the Java program on one platform and it can run on other platforms. So it is a language that is independent of both hardware as well as software. Initially, this project it was started by Sun Microsystem by an engineer called James Gosling, and this project it was called as Project Green, and the extension for this language was GN. But during the process of development, the extension was changed to Java, not Java. Earlier, the name of the language was not Java; it was Oak. The first name that was given to the language by its developers was Oak, not Java. But there was an already existing language by the name Oak, so they decided to give the name as Java. At the time of its inception, Java was developed and maintained and managed by Sun Microsystem. Now it has been overtaken by Oracle. Now in the initial days, Java was managed by the Sun Microsystem, but now it is managed by the Oracle. So this is the photograph or the snap of James Gosling, who is the author of JVM. Now, features of the Java, as we said, it is simple because you have got all structures that are similar to C and C++. Programmers or developers who are from the C++ or C background will find it very much easy to switch to the new platform. They'll not find any hurdles. And as for the statistics, most of the bugs were there because of this language, because of pointers. So while designing the language, they have eliminated pointers in Java. And then you have got explicit garbage collection mechanism implicit, you can say. Garbage collection mechanism is if you don't or if you no longer require an object, if you no longer require a memory will be cleaned up automatically. I repeat, garbage collection is a mechanism which take care of cleanup of memory. That is, if you don't require the memory, then it will be automatically deallocated. It will be cleaned up or it will be freed. And then you have got a rich set of predefined operators that will help you to perform the operations. Am I audible? Manjil and Zahid, am I audible? Manjil says, okay. I'm audible at Manjil and Zahid end. Roma, could you please check your mic at your end? I'm waiting for Roma's reply. I request Manjil and Zahid to wait for a few seconds. Okay.
ए बाटू बाटू
Roma, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay, fine. Thanks. Thanks for the cooperation. Now, next what we have got is object-oriented. Languages, they are classified into two types, procedural and the object-oriented. Under procedural language, you'll write all your code in terms of functions like C, and whereas with the object-oriented programming language, you write the code in terms of objects. Java is robust because of the following features. We don't have memory leaks, that is, it is allocated and deallocated. Type safety of the data. What you store is what you declare as what you can store, and it does extensive checking at the compile time as well as the runtime that will help you eliminate a lot of errors, and it has got many predefined classes to handle the exceptions. Now, the feature of the Java is that it is architectural neutral and interpreted. Now, what do we mean by architectural neutral is the JVM what you are writing or the code that is being generated, it is not like that. It can just run only on Microsoft operating system. It is not like
बाटू
the code can run only on Linux. It is not like that the code can run on Solaris. That is, you just write the code. Once your code is developed, you can copy your code into your pen drive or any storage device, and you can run it on any of the machine. That is what we say. Java is architectural neutral. That is, it is not binded to any operating system. The code that is written in Java is not binded to the operating system. The code, what we write, we can run it.
अच्छा એ જ પ્રોબ્લેમ હું આમાંથી તો સાંભળી જ નહીં શકતી પછી મારે ફરીથી આમાંથી જ કરવાનું છે
You can run it on
મને
Windows,
નહીં
you can
સમજાતું
run it on Linux, and you can run it on Solaris.
પછી મારે કોલ એનાથી કરવો પડ્યો પાછો આનાથી કરવો પડ્યો
That is what we say. It is architectural neutral. These are the other features. Java, you'll get an T edition, standard edition, enterprise edition, and then the micro edition.
અને
Standard
સાંભળવાનું
edition
અલગ
is
છે ને
used
પછી
for creating the desktop application. Enterprise edition, as we have discussed, is used for creating the server-side applications. And then you have got micro edition that is used for creating Java program that can run on the small devices that has got limited power and limited memory and limited processing capabilities. So the first public release of the Java was made in 1996, and its version was called as 1.0. Now, the current latest release was made in the year 2014, and the version is 1.4. And between 1.0 to 1.8, there were various versions of the Java that was released. With each release of the JDK, it is obvious certain new features will be added, and certain features from the existing language will be deprecated or will be removed, and then okay certain and they will make the structural changes to the JVM, how JVM is implemented, and the speed and the memory. So internally they will be making many changes to the code, that is to the JVM they might be making various changes. Now moving forward, you need to download JDK from the Oracle website in order to perform or in order to write the code. JDK stands for the Java Development Kit, and over here you have got various tools that will help you to write the code, compile as well as execute the code. So a Java Development Kit that is used for the development purpose, whereas you can perform all the operations in order to develop the code. Now, then you have got JVM. When you are writing your Java programs, your programs actually run in JVM, Java Virtual Machine, Java Runtime Environment. This Java Virtual Machine, it has it consists of the rules that should be implemented. It consists of all the definitions. It doesn't consider it. It consists of all the rules and all the abstract features that should be implemented by the JRE. JRE stands for the Java Runtime Environment. So in this runtime environment, what you have, the code, the Java code, what we have written will be executed in the JRE. I repeat, JRE stands for the Java Runtime Environment. In order to execute your program, you just require Java Runtime Environment. Your Java runtime environment is responsible for executing the code what you have written. Now, the object-oriented programming language. In the object-oriented programming language, we have got two things. One is object, the other one is called as class. In the object-oriented programming language, we have got two main entities. One is object, the other one is called as class. Object is called as real-time instance, or it is called as real-time entity. And in real time, the objects they communicate with each other. Let us take an example of a remote and the TV set. Yes, remote is a different object, TV set is a different object. Yes, but two different, but still they can communicate with each other by passing signals. Over here, the signal is infrared. So, one object is television set, and the other object is remote. So, your television set can communicate with the remote. So, similarly, if you have any doubt, you please type in your query so that I can focus on that. Now, when it comes to software development, your basic role or basic job is to design the classes. So, how will you design a class? When it comes to the development, your basic job is to write the code. You need to design the classes. So how will you design the class? Object will come at a later stage. At runtime, the object will come. But when you are in the development environment, your basic job is to design the classes. So you'll get something like this. Now, I repeat, when you are in the object-oriented environment, your basic job is to design the classes. Over there, you'll have something called proposed system. Proposed system is what the system should behave like. What the system should behave like. Let's say if you are creating an automated test engine. So functional requirement says what are the features that should be incorporated in the test engine. So over here we are creating an online system for managing students. Your functional requirements and your documentation specifies what are the features that should be implemented. So over here under functional requirement, so you say a manager should be able to add new students and teachers to the system. Manager himself will determine the password and the username of the user. A functionality that suggests username and password and combination should be provided. Over here, you need to find out what are the nouns. Nouns will make the names of the class. Nouns will form the name of the class. Whereas verbs or action words will form the functionality of the class. And what you want to store, that is, you want to store the username and password. This forms the attributes of the class. Now, over here, if you see, now over here, solve test. If you just read this statement, students should be able to solve tests and keep track of the process. In addition, students can revise their correct/wrong answers. So from this statement, what are the nouns? Now from this statement, correct. So students is the noun. So students should be able to solve test. So what is the functionality? What is the functionality you're giving to the students? Solve test and keep track of the progress. And the other functionality is, what is the other functionality? One is solve test and the other functionality is keep track of the progress. Roma, can you identify the other functionality from this? Verbs, action words. The verbs will form the functionality. So one function or one operation what a student can do is he should be able to solve the test. And what is the other operation? Keep track of the progress is the other functionality. Is it clear? That is, they should be able to view the results. They should be able to, view their progress. In addition, student can revise the correct or wrong answers. And so how many functionalities do you find over here? So from this, 3, correct. Mandal says 3. Yes, it is correct. So can you please type in your responses? What should be the name for the class and what are the functionality or what are the responsibilities of the class? Okay, correct. Manjal says correct. Name of the student. Correct. Name of the class is student. And correct. My methods is action. So from this, what should be the functionality for the class? Student should be able to solve the test. Correct. Keep track is one functionality. Solving the test is the another functionality. And then when you have completed the test, then reviewing whether the answer correct, right or wrong answers. The answers that you have attempted, whether it is correct or not, is the other functionality. Is it clear? Roma, is it clear to you? Okay, now let us solve another question. Now over here, the another feature what we have is take attendance. So from the sentence or from the statement, what would you identify? A teacher should be able to take attendance and see their results when he wishes to. So what are the nouns from here? From this, what are the nouns? Okay, correct. Teacher is the noun, and what a teacher is capable of doing. What a teacher is capable of doing. Correct. The teacher can take the attendance and then they can see the results. So correct. Hira says attendance. Yes, correct. Manjul says attendance. Yes. So teacher can do two tasks. One is they can take the attendance. Other is they can view the results of the exams that has been submitted by the students. So, so from this, the two, so you've got teacher who can what is okay, who can take attendance and then view results. Clear with this? How to identify a class? So we need to keep one thing in mind, that nouns will help you to identify the class, whereas the functionality will help you to find out its whereas the verbs will help you find out the functionality of the class. Uh, Roma, are you able to follow?
Oh, yep, yep. I mean, I have sent that to an access team, right? Today is Friday, so I'll get that done for you by tomorrow morning. Mhm. But I suggest you try it once. Don't just leave it like that. And one more thing.
Okay, hold on,
Okay.
hold on. One sec. Let it not.
She's trying to connect, but it is saying connecting to audio.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. Now, this is the logical code what we are writing. This is how you write the logical code. So the logical code will form your class. So your class, it has got two things. One is functionality, what you say, and other is the characteristics, what you want to store. Let's say for the teacher, I want to store the teacher name. Let's say for teacher, I want to store the teacher name. The subject, what the teacher teaches. And then you want to store the teacher's salary. And then okay, you may want to store the teacher designation. Now if you see over here, when you are writing the class, it has got two things. The attributes, what you want to record, and the functionality. A class, whenever we are writing a class, we have got two things. One is the attributes what you want to record, and the second one is the functionality. So whenever we are writing the classes, it has got two things, or it has got two parts. One is member variables and second is member functions. Under member variables, you will store the characteristics, the features, the properties, whatever you want to record. And under member functions, you will store the functionality of the class. Is it clear to one and all how to design a class from the document? Okay.
But thank you.
Now, object, as we said, it is an instance of the class. Object, it is an instance of the class. The code what you're writing is logical. The code what you're writing is logical. At runtime, when you are executing the application, at runtime, when you're executing the application, at that point of time, it creates the object. At that point of time, you create the objects. Now, what you can see is this is an instance. This is an instance of the notepad, or this is an object. Now, a student logs in. You've got a student by name XXX, X, X, X. Or let's say, okay, you've got some student account with XXX student ID. Now, when this student logs in, when this candidate, when it logs in into the system, at that point of time, it creates a student. So there you will be occupying some memory. So this is called as object. The code that is already written is called as class, and at runtime when the student logs in into the system, there it occupies some memory. But there it creates an object for the class. Now as you see over here, you have got a class called teacher. If you see over here, we have got a class called teacher. So this is logical code. At runtime, when teacher logs in into the system, let's say the teacher has logged in into the system. When the teacher has logged in into the system, the object what it is creating. At runtime, it will create an object for the teacher in the system. So this object, or the memory occupied by the teacher in the system, is called as an object. Clear with this? Now the question that is asked is, how do you make a method to perform the operation? How do you make a method to perform an operation? So how do you make a method is, if I explain you graphically, you have got, let's say, you've got a screen. You've got a screen wherein you've got the option called view attendance. Wherein you have got the option called view attendance. So when you're clicking on this link, internally it will call this code. Sorry, when you click on take attendance, internally it calls this code. So when you click on this link, there internally you will write the code t dot take attendance. Is it clear? you will be writing T dot take attendance. Clear on this? So how to make a method perform the operation? You have got a screen wherein again you have got this link. Let's say this is take attendance. So when you're clicking on this link, internally the operation that gets executed is T dot take attendance. So you'll have all the code that is running in the background. So over here, when the teacher logs in into the system, it will create an object of the student, sorry, of the teacher. Is it clear how a class is different from an object? An object is real time when the stuff actually starts executing. When your code starts executing, when the code starts executing at that point of time, the system starts creating the object. That is the reason it is called as real time, because your code will get executed in real time. Does this answer your question? Manjal, is it clear?
Yes, Atika.
Okay, fine. Question number 15, I did not check. I think I have to check that. Now, when you are writing the class, now let's say we are writing the class for this teacher. How do we write a classes? Class and then class name. Uh, you have got string teacher name. This is what I want to record, the details, what I want to record for the teacher. And then I want to record the subject which the teacher teaches. Salty, let me leave it. And then you need to record designation. And the operation, what a teacher can do is public void take attendance. Over here you will be writing the code for taking up the attendance. And then public void view results. This is how you write the code. So you will be given only logical design at the development. At the development time, you will be given only the logical design. You will be only given the diagram. From the diagram, you need to write the code. In the real-time environment, you will be given only the diagram. From the diagram, you need to write the code. Is it clear? Now, let me just copy this code. So you can just download and install this NetBeans software. And then if you have to, I'll just show you how to create a project. You can click over your file, new project, and then from under category, select Java, and under project, select Java application. Click next, and over here, let me type revision and click finish. Over here, right click, new, and then Java class. Over here, your class name is teacher. By default, NetBeans will take .java extension. And let me copy and paste this code over here. That's it. If you want to run this application, you need to write the main method. Public static void main. Teacher T is equal to new teacher. Now when you say teacher T is equal to new teacher, this is called as creating the object. That is, let's say this is your execution environment. Let's say this is your execution environment and the teacher has logged in into the system. Once the teacher has logged in into the system successfully, let's say you have got username and password. Once the teacher has logged in into the system successfully, on the server side, you will get an object. You will get an object for the teacher. So this is what it says. This means again it will create the object of the teacher at runtime. Is this clear? Just hold on for a second. Now, when the teacher is clicking on this link, now once the teacher has logged in into the system, you get two links over there. One link is take attendance, second link is view results. So if the teacher clicks on take attendance, then the system should call this method, take attendance. So how do we do that? T dot take attendance. So let us execute this and check. Take attendance. And then next T dot view results. Now the teacher is clicking on the view results. Teacher should be able to view all the results. Right click and then say run file. View results. Are you able to map this to the real-time scenario? Is everyone able to follow this? I hope if given a scenario you will be able to write. So this is what we have for the object. Now, if you have a look at this example, this is the class that we're creating. It has got two text, send SMS, forward SMS, and cancel. So using this class, I can create multiple objects. Using one class, we can create multiple objects. Then we say objects communicate with each other by sending the messages. Over here, we have got two objects. One is teacher and the other object what we have discussed is student. So this is the yellow one is the student and the gray one is the teacher. So when the teacher says or when the teacher clicks view results, what he or she is actually doing? Whose result it is viewing? Is it viewing the result of the student or teacher is viewing the result of themselves? This is one object. Correct. The teacher is accessing the data of the student. So we can say teacher is a separate entity and the student is a separate entity. We can say that the teacher is accessing the details of the student. So do you observe that these two objects, they are communicating with each other? So this is what we say. In real time, you create separate entities and then you establish the link or connection between them so that they can access the features of each other. Now, you have got, let's say, login, or let's say, take exam. The student is having the feature called take exam. So, would you let the teacher take the exam on behalf of the student? The student is having a feature called take exam. So will you let a teacher take exam on behalf of the student? Correct. Mandel says no. So yes, here also says no. You should not let the teacher take the exam on behalf of the student. So it depends on the program or it depends on the system design what is permitted and what is not permitted. It depends on the system design that when you're specifying this, you're not supposed to take the exam. This is wrong. This feature should not be made accessible to the teacher. So in the object-oriented programming language, you have to decide what you can let the other class access and what you should block. In the object-oriented programming language, you have to decide what you can access and what you can block. So this is called as hiding the data or encapsulation. This is called as encapsulation. That is what you can hide and what you can let the other users access. So is it clear so far? And the next what we have is encapsulation. Now, encapsulation as we discussed. Okay, when the question that is asked is when does the constructors come into play? Now, when does the constructor come into play is you've got this code. Now, you've got instances. Now this is, you have got two boxes, username and then password, and then the submit button. Now the user clicks onto this submit button. When the user clicks onto this submit button, the code will go, or the code will move to the server side. This is your server. The code moves over here, wherein it will check your username and the password, wherein it will check the username and the password. Once your credentials are valid, then it will execute the code for the constructor. Constructor will execute it. When the constructor is executed, then it creates an object. Is it clear? Yes, after your validation is successful, then only it will create the object. Yes, in this scenario, it creates the object after your validation is successful. So over here, encapsulation is a process. You've got student, username, password, and marks. And the feature what we have is login, log off, and take exam. And then you have got employee, first name and the designation and salary. Now, you want the student to access the details of his faculty. You want the student to access the detail of the faculty. Now, as a developer, as a programmer, you should decide what you should allow the student to access and what should be forbidden. We want the student to access, or we want the student to gain access to the first name and the designation, but salary we want to block. Clear on this? So it is up to you what should be made visible and what should be made hidden. Is it clear? Okay, fine. So this is called as encapsulation. So hiding the data, information hiding. When two entities, one is student, the other is employees, when they communicate with each other, then we can decide what should be made visible and what should be made hidden. And then okay, the other way the encapsulation is implemented is by using packages. So over here we have been using the packages so far. So if you see, if I open up this project and under the source folder, I've got exercise. Under exercise, I've got question 3. Sorry, if inheritance, under inheritance, I've got 3 classes. Class 1, class 2, and class 3. All these classes, we are bundling it together. All these classes, we are bundling it together under a folder called inheritance. This package actually it is a folder. If you click over here under files, and then if I go to a project folder by name December, and then under source we have got inheritance. So you have got related classes. These 3 are the classes that are related to each other. Your inheritance, your rectangle, school manager, and the user. These are the 3 classes that are connected with each other. So we are bundling it together under a single name called inheritance. We are putting it into a folder by a name called inheritance. So packaging is so putting the similar stuff in a folder, putting all the similar stuff in a single folder is called as packaging. In layman terms, if I say putting all the related stuff in a single folder is called as packaging. Is it clear? Okay, Hira says it is clear. Is it clear to Manjul, Zahid, and Roma? Roma, can you just let me know which concept you did not follow? Is it which one, the packages or two concept I have explained? Encapsulation. Which one is not clear? Both? Okay, fine. Package second. Okay, fine. Second part, package. Is this one clear? The one that is being shown on the screen right now. Okay, fine. Now the other concept what we have is encapsulation. So now I'll just explain you with a simple example. You have got a code called file reader that is responsible for reading the data from the file. So this file reader is responsible for reading the contents, and then file writer you have that is responsible for writing the content. We have got a code for performing the operation on the files. The operation what we can perform on the file is read and write. So you have a separate class called file reader that will help you to read the contents from the file, and we have got a separate class called file writer that will help you to write the contents to the file. These two classes are related to files. These two classes, they are related to files, and they're responsible for IO operations, that is input in output. Input is reading the data, whereas output is writing the data. This file reader will act as input operation, or will perform the input operation, that is reading the data from the file. File writer will perform the output operation, that is, it will write the data to the file. So this file reader and file writer classes, they are related to each other. The reason we say that they're related to each other is because they are performing operations on the file. Because they are related, we are putting them into a single package, or we are bundling them together under the name java.io, java.input output. Is it clear now? If you have followed, you can type in your response, otherwise we will discuss it using another example. Okay, thank you. And then okay, we have got concept that is called as inheritance. Inheritance, in a very simple terms, if I say it is called as code reusability. That is, once you have written the code, you need not write the code again and again. You can reuse it. So now over here, if you see, you have got a class called rectangle. Rectangle, it has got the features, one is length and breadth. And then you are writing one more class called cuboid. Your cuboid, it has got three features, one is length, breadth, and then the height. Now what I feel is, after I have written the class, I feel that I have written length and breadth already in some of the class. I have written length and breadth in the another class, rectangle. And I feel that I'm repeating this code again, and I feel that I'm repeating this code again. So what do I do is, I want to copy this code. I want to inherit. I want to reuse the code what I have written. I don't want to write it one more time. Whatever code I have written, I want to use it. So that is what we say code reusability. When I say cuboid, it would inherit from rectangle. It means cuboid will have all the features of rectangle, plus cuboid will have its own feature. The additional feature of the cuboid is height. The additional feature of the cuboid is height. The one that is written in gray color is copied. The one that is written in the gray color is copied. We say code reusability. That is, we are not going to type the code again, because we feel that this code has been already written, has been already developed. I'm not going to type the code again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reuse the code. So reusing the code is called as inheritance. And plus I can modify the code according to my requirements. So this class, the class what you have written first, this is called as parent. The class what you have written later or the class what we have developed later is called as child class. So your cuboid is the child class, whereas rectangle is the parent class. Your cuboid class will inherit or will have all the features from the rectangle class. Is it clear? Okay, fine. Now, where to use this concept is we have got a class called student. Excuse me. Wherein okay, it has got features called username, password, codes, and then the marks. And then okay, you have got a class called login and log off take exam called employee. And this employee class again, it has got the feature username, password, designation, and then salary. Login, log off, and then evaluate. So can you just help me identify what are the common features in student and then the employee class? Do you find that there is repetition of the data or the repetition of the code what we are writing? Do you find that there is repetition of the code? Is this and the same? Are we not repeating this code? This code is repeated. Username. Okay. Other than username, what is repeated? Can you just identify from these two classes? Correct. Username and password. So these two are repeated. Correct. And then from functionality, what is repeated? Correct. Login and log off. This is repeated. So what are you doing is, even though the code is same, you have to do it one more time. You have to write it one more time. So it is like unnecessary you're writing the code. It is a waste of time. Let's say it is taking 10 minutes roughly. Let us assume it is taking 10 minutes to write the code. So you're wasting 10 minutes. So what do we do is, so whatever the common features we have identified, we will extract all those common features and put it in a separate class. So you have got a class called user. The common feature what we have identified for all the users is username and then the password. And the functionality what we have identified is login and logout. Your student class, it will extend from the user class, and your employee class will inherit it from the user class. So over here, you have got this username and then this password. You have got this username and password. So what do I do with this? You want me to type it one more time or uh, use it from the parent class? Uh, Roman, do you have a question? Okay, fine. Could you please type in your question, or you can speak over the mic? Okay. Uh, Difference between function and features. Function, we call it technically. That is, in technical terms, when you're speaking, we call it as functions. But if you are just explaining it, we use the word called features. So function and features is one and the same. In technical terms, feature is a function. Features are implemented using functions. Okay, so what you will do, what do you do with this code? You're writing it again and again. I just want to reuse it. I don't want to write it. So what do we do is we inherit. So when you say inheriting it, we expect the code not to repeat the code. We expect not to repeat the code. Now over here, if you see, we said we don't want to repeat the code. That is the reason we are removing this. So the student will get the username and the password. The student will get the username and the password from this user class. And then from where the employee gets the username and the password, because it is mandatory for an employee to have both username and password. So when you have removed this username and the password from the employee class, then from where the student is going to, from where the employee is going to get the code for the username and the password, from where we are going to reuse this feature. From the diagram, can you identify it from where the employee will get username and password? Correct, from the user itself. So this is called as inheritance. This is called as inheritance. Moving forward. So, and again, okay, we find that the login and logout is repeated. So take exam, but we said the student will have the functionality or feature. Functionality and feature both are same. So from where he is going to get the code for login and logout? Again, from which class? Code, from where it is getting the code? The student will again get the code from the user class. So you say the student is inheriting from user, and then we say that the employee is inheriting from the user. This is what we call it as code reusability. That is, you have written the code only once, but in how many classes you are reusing this code? We have written the code only once, but this code is being used in how many classes? Twice, correct. The code is being used in two classes. So that is what we say, reusability. Write once and then you can reuse it multiple times. Okay. So I'll just write that code, right click, new, and then Java. I'll create a folder by name inheritance. This is called as package. Right click and then new. You've got a class called user. This user class is having two attributes. One is username and the other one what we have is password. So you write it string username and then password. Functionality as of now what we are writing is public void login system.out.println. Now as of now we are not implementing the code for login yet to be developed. And then you have got a feature called logoff or method. Method, feature, function are the same. Over here you will be writing code for logoff. Now next, when you're creating an object, you are writing a class called student. Extends user. Now the additional functionality what we have is integer, marks, and then what is the additional functionality we have, and then the course. So when you say you want to inherit, or when you want to reuse the code from the parent class, then you have to use the keyword extends. Is it clear? When you say that the students should reuse the code from the user class, then this is implemented in Java using the extends keyword. Is it clear? Okay, fine. Then you have its own functionality, public void take exam. Take exam. Okay, we have got two classes. One is this and the other one is employee. Class employee extends, again it extends from the user. So if you see this, the additional features for this employee, what we have is designation and then the salary. What are we writing is evaluate. Public void evaluate. Evaluate, done. Is it clear how to write the code? Okay, now you will create the test class, wherein you will be writing the main method, because your program will start executing from the main method. I create an object for the student, and then I can give the name to the student, username Jack, and then s dot password. Let's say the student password is jack@123, and then s dot course. The student is taking exam for Java. Initially, marks should be obviously 0. S dot course is equal to 0. Incompatible types. Okay, sorry, this is not, we don't have course. Now, so what you can do is, first you have the student should log in. So I'll call login. Oh, sorry. S dot login. And then the next you want the student to take the exam. Take exam and then log off. Now, if you see over here, if I expand this method, you've got login, log off. So login and log off. These two functional keys you're using from which class? From the user class, or you have this functionality from the student class? These two features we are using from the user class or from the student class? Did we write the correct student class? These two features we are using it from the student class. And take exam is from? Take exam feature is from which class? Correct, it is from the student class. So login and log off, these two features you're using it from the user class. Inherited and take exam feature is from the user class. So this is what we say, that you can use the features from the parent class as well as from the child class also. In inheritance, you can make use of the features that are available in the base class or in the parent class, as well as we can call the features from the child class. Now if you run this code, it should execute successfully. Code for login, then you will take the exam, and then code for log off. Is it clear how to implement inheritance? Basic idea? Okay, do we have any doubts? Can you send this? Okay, fine, I'll send it. So, do we have any doubts? Okay, example for the constructor. So I'm inserting the code for the constructor. Okay, I'll just make it a simple one without inheritance. Now, first let us understand this from Now, if I'm creating a new document, let's say new text document. So by default, the name that is given to this document is new text. Now, if you see the properties of these documents, so what are the properties of the notepad? So you have got the name of the file itself, text document it opens with, where it is located, what is the size on disk, when you have created, when was it modified, when was it accessed. So are you recording any of these features, or is it being done automatically? It is automatically. So actually this job is being done by the constructor. Whenever you're creating the object, whenever you're creating a notepad over here is an object. So when you're creating an object for the notepad, this is the code that is getting executed, wherein again it is initializing all these features. Clear on this? So now if you're writing the code, how this should be implemented. Now let us take an example, new, and then you have got notepad. So now what all you require is, so let us just the type of the file and opens with private string, its type, and then okay, let us not involve this private, and then string opens with, and then what you have, its location, and then integer size on disk, date created, and then you have got last accessed, and then modified, xyz, so on you may have. And over here add the class Yes, dated is a data type. Now, over here, when I am creating the object for the notepad, I want all this to be initialized. So for this purpose, I will write the constructor. Constructor will have the same name as that of the class. Constructor will have the same name as that of the class. So over here, we want all these properties to be initialized. So type what you want. Type should be what? By default. Type is what? What is the type of the file? Can you just, okay, fine. Type of the file is .txt. And then it opens with notepad. And then its location is the default location, C colon users slash test. And then its size is 0 bytes default. Size on disk is again 0 bytes. When it is created, or you're having the same dates for everything, last accessed and then modified is equal to today's date. New date will give you today's date, the current date. Clear on this? Is it clear? Okay, fine. So let us just print all this. System dot out dot println. So type of the document is plus type, and then what you have got, it opens with plus opens with, and then I want to print where it is present, location. uh, its size, created. Okay, this is the code just to print all the details. System.out.println, last accessed, and then you have got system.out.println modified. Clear on this? Now let us create an object, public static void main. So notepad n is equal to new notepad. So over here, this is equivalent to something like this. Right click when you're clicking new, and then when you click on new over here, when you click on this, then this code will get executed. This code will get executed and initialized. So when you're clicking on this, it is equal to selecting right click and the new text document. When you're saying this new text document, then this code will get executed. Clear with this? Or else let us change this to new text document. fine. So right click and then say run file. Clear on this? See, when you're executing this, notepad n is equal to new notepad, or if you want it to be more precise, control R, new text document. So new text document, when you're doing this way, right click, new, and then new text document, this text document. When you're selecting this, when this is executed, when you're selecting new text document, then over here it will come and execute this code for constructor. Wherein again you are writing the code that returns again initializes to all the default values. Is it clear? Okay, fine. Okay. Question number 12. Okay, fine. So I'm moving to question number 12. Okay. So over here what we are doing is, okay, question number 12 and 13. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I'll just show you how to do that. Over here you are, okay, fine here. So over here what you want is, for the runs, the possible value you have is the player might get 1 run, or he may take 2 runs, or 3, or 4, or 6. These are the possible values for the run. You don't have any other value other than this. You have 1, you've got 2, you've got 3, you've got 4 runs, or 6 runs. So you don't have any other value for this. So you're creating an array called runs. You're creating an array called runs. You're creating an array called run. So over here what we have is, if so, this is just a simulation game. This is just a simulation program. That is, you will generate the numbers from 0 to 5. Over here you generate the number from 0 to 5, and if you get 0, okay, fine. Over here you generate the numbers from 0 to 5. So if you get 0, if the number is 0, then how many runs? What is your score? Correct, 1. If your random number that is generated is 1, then the run scored is 2. Correct. If the random number generated is 2, then you will get what? 3. Correct. And then so on. If the random number generated is 5, okay, you will get -1. You are out. Now, in order to implement this, you need to generate or you need to write the code that generates the random number from 1 to 5. So this is what you're doing. So you're generating the random numbers. If you want 18 balls, then the loop should be repeated 18 times. You need to write the code. 18 times you need to write the code. So this one will give you r is equal to 1 plus maths.random star 5. So you will get the numbers from 1 to 0 to 5 where you mean 18 random numbers. So if you want 18 random numbers, rather than multiplying it by 5, you should multiply it by 18. That's it. Clear? Because I want the numbers from uh, I did not understand your question. Does it mean 18 random numbers for no. If you want random numbers from 1 to 5, this you should specify it as 5. Oh yeah, you should specify it as 5. Let's say, okay, if you want the random numbers from 1 to 6, you're playing a dice game where you want the random numbers from 1 to 6. So you should specify it as 6. So it will generate the random numbers. So where does 18 balls come to play? So for 18 balls, you have to take the loop. For integer I equal to 1, I is less than or equal to 18. You need to loop the logic 18 times. This logic, you need to loop it 18 times. Is this part clear? If this is clear, then I'll proceed to the next part. Okay. Over here, if you see, use the loop to generate the run multiple times, or to be more specific, 18 times. Add run value in each uh, add run value generated in each iteration to this. So whatever run value it is generating in each iteration, you are adding it to the total runs. And program should exit when the run value is equal to -1 or when the number of ball is equal to 18. Print the total runs that is scored by the user. Is it clear now? Okay, fine. Then John is writing an application. Okay. It is quite simple. Uh, yes, correct. Corrected. Your answer was correct. So let me give the name as character conversion. Now public void too low. Or you will pass this as an argument, word, sentence, whatever it is. So when you're passing it as an argument, your capital A is 65 and your small a value is 97. So the difference what you get is of 32. The difference what we get is of 32. So if you add plus 32, it gets converted to the lowercase. So whenever you want to convert a array or a character to a lowercase, you need to add plus 32 to it. So if you need to loop this for integer I is equal to 0, I is less than word dot length and then I plus plus. Over here what we are doing is, first you should check whether it is in the range. If it is in lowercase. If it is in the lowercase, then what you have to do is you need to just convert this to uppercase. So in order to convert it to the uppercase, system.out.println, what you have is word of, or else word of I plus 32. Otherwise, you just print it as it is. I don't try to print it. Here is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, this one should be too upper. What I'm doing plus 32 plus 32, okay fine, lower only. So let me just test this. Public static void main. Character conversion. CC is equal to new character conversion. So CC dot to lower. So this should be printed in the lowercase. Character word let me just change this to string. Character word. So this is how you convert. Right click and then say run file. Okay, this should be in lowercase. Sorry, this is. So it is converting. The reason you're getting this is because it is converting to integer. You will typecast it. Of integer x is equal to word of I. Okay, sorry, it should be lower. For this one, it should be minus. Clear with this? It is lowercase. The string that you have passed as an argument is lower. It is converting into up. Is this clear? Here is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Do you have any other doubts?
No.
Okay, fine. So we will wind up the session for today. Just try to practice rest of the examples. If you have any doubts, we'll discuss that in the next class. So do you have any doubts, or can we wind up the session for today?
Are there any assignments, any other assignments that you wanted us to do?
The same, I think I have forwarded this one. From this, I want you to do this. From here, again, you just read this, and from here, you have to identify the class and their behaviors.
Okay.
Roma, can you just type in your email address so that I can share it with you? Try to do this, and we have. Okay, fine. Just read this document, and once you read this document, okay, sure, I'll forward it. So this is the class diagram what has been already created. As discussed in the yesterday's class, I request you to write the code for this. This is only the logical design, and you need to write the code for this diagram, for this logical design. So this covers inheritance and encapsulation concepts. So the assignment what we have is, this is the document which we have already shared with the students. So I'll just give this document. There are some 14 to 15 questions wherein you need to write the code for it. Okay. So I'll be sharing the, yes. Code is what you have, like question is there, as well as we have got hints to solve it. So once you read the hints, you will be able to solve the question. So can we wind up the session for today?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So bye bye. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.